So this is what I'm saying to y'all though, and I know we gotta go to break, and we didn't necessarily go there, maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed. When you no. And yes, Shannon, I know y'all are gonna say you know, and Stephen A, I know you just shared that you've talked about the WNBA on your program too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin.
So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
ESPN just did the unthinkable. They finally admitted it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star, she's a full-blown WNBA phenom. And let's be honest, it feels like they only reluctantly acknowledged what the rest of us already knew. This queen is about to break the entire sports world wide open. If her legend grows any bigger, they might as well start printing basketballs with her face on them. So, the real question is, why did it take ESPN this long to catch up? Stick around, because we're breaking down the wild reasons they couldn't keep ignoring Caitlin Clark.
Beautiful time, and I don't think anybody that is a part of this league or has covered this league, sure, we lament kind of keeping this little thing that we love to protect it from all of the noise, right?
Right.
But in the same breath,
yeah,
the eyeballs and the visibility and the growth is better for all involved. I mean, frankly, John, like, Caitlin Clark got me here, right? You know what I mean?
How the tables have turned. ESPN, the self-proclaimed gold standard of sports journalism, has finally rubbed the sleep out of its eyes and admitted what fans have known for years. Caitlin Clark is a basketball phenomenon. This is the same ESPN that once treated her like some quirky internet trend, as if she were just a niche favorite for stat nerds who actually watch games instead of the folks live tweeting about what color socks the players are wearing. Now, they don't have a choice. Clark's dominance has kicked the door down, and ESPN is late to its own party.
NBA season starting to ramp up and media days taking place around the league. Today was media day for the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark prepares for her sophomore season. She won the Rookie of the Year award. She averaged 19 points, 8 assists per game, led the Fever to their first postseason in 8 years. She also finished the season 4th in MVP voting last year. But this season, take a look. Clark is the favorite for the MVP, slightly shorter odds than A'ja Wilson. That's important because the preseason MVP favorite has gone on to win the award in each of the last 3.
Fast forward a season and now ESPN is practically tripping over itself to shower Caitlin Clark with praise. Funny how quickly the tune changes when you start smashing records like it's nothing. But let's rewind to last season. Clark was out there rewriting history books like a high school kid who just discovered cheat codes. Records? She was breaking them like they were made of cardboard. And yet, somehow, ESPN acted like that wasn't enough. Instead, their spotlight was glued to A'ja Wilson, handing her the MVP crown while Clark's dominance was treated like background noise.
She is just different. She's special. Just a different type of electricity, man. Did you hear the roar of the crowd while that shot was in flight? Like, I'm expecting big things from her, especially MVP type conversation things. Like, I think she's ready. She knows it's her second year. She knows what type of physicality.
Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe because A'ja Wilson once looked at a basketball court and existed there. Or maybe it was the whole brand loyalty thing ESPN had going with her. Could have been the power of a polished Instagram feed. Maybe they just needed a headline big enough to keep their NBA Twitter account busy. Who knows? What we do know is this. ESPN has a funny little habit of handing out MVP love to anyone with the right social media presence. Cute, right? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was out there on a record-breaking rampage, shattering milestones like she was on a basketball bender, and somehow that wasn't enough for them.
Has done for not just college basketball, but for women's basketball, period, I think has been great. The following, people watching the game, sellouts that we haven't seen ever. It just really bothers me, though, when people just take bits and pieces of what they want to take and they don't listen to everything and you don't hear everything. It wasn't personal. One, it was my opinion on how I think she'll be at the next level, because I do remember me saying that Caitlin, to me, could be the best college shooter I've ever seen. When you put these expectations on these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant, and when that doesn't happen, then people come back and say, oh, she was a bust, she was a flop, she wasn't that good. Just let them do what they're doing in college, enjoy what they're doing in college, and let them become stars in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark had the kind of season that made you wonder if she had a personal vendetta against the laws of physics. And yet, somehow, the MVP went to someone who didn't break records, didn't melt the internet, and definitely didn't look like a one-woman highlight reel. It's like handing out a trophy to the kid who shows up to class on time, while the genius who aced every test and built a fully functioning robot in the hallway gets ignored. Oh, you didn't lose your homework? Congrats, here's your award.
Stephen A., I would be remiss if I didn't say this. A lot of this noise came by people that were sitting on this network. They tried to minimize her, said, well, you giving her all this credit. What about the women that came before her? What the women came before her, what they did cannot be taken away. That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. But there was a lot of people tried to make sure they keep Caitlin Clark in her place, because what you're doing, if you give her all this shine, you minimize what they done.
But then the plot thickens. ESPN, late to the party as always, finally decides it's time to shower Caitlin Clark with praise. Well, color me shocked. This is the same network that spent an entire season treating her like some passing fad. I guess it's hard to keep ignoring someone when every basketball fan with even a casual interest is screaming the obvious. Clark wasn't just good, she was playing like a monster, with stats that made everyone else look like they were running in slow motion. Fans, the pesky people who actually watch games, kept shouting, "Hey ESPN, stop acting like she's some random underdog." And what did ESPN do? They waited until the last possible moment, when they had absolutely no choice, before admitting Clark was an unstoppable force. They acted like they just struck gold in their backyard. Oh wow, Caitlin Clark is great. Who knew? Yeah, no kidding, ESPN. Literally everyone else knew. Better late than never, I guess. But their sudden realization doesn't erase the countless times they acted like she wasn't worth watching. The truth is, the real MVP here isn't ESPN, it's the fans who saw it from day one.
Really what we're going to see from Caitlin this year, it's not just being able to get better on the court, it's also, she's described this greater level of comfort and being that second-year pro player. And I actually asked her today at Media Day how she described where she's at this point this year compared to this point last year.
Now ESPN's like, oh hey, remember Caitlin Clark? She's amazing. She's a superstar. Oh, really? Took you a whole season of her dominating the league to figure that out? Thanks, ESPN, for finally catching up to what the rest of the world knew months ago. It's honestly like that friend who swore they hated your favorite band, and then one day they're front row at the concert, rocking the merch, acting like they've been fans since day one. Oh yeah, I've always loved them. Sure, buddy. Just don't look so shocked when everyone reminds you of your loud, public ignorance. And while we're here, let's talk about ESPN's favorite pastime, their ranking system. You know what I mean. Just when you think they finally got a list right, they pull out some galaxy brain shenanigans that make you wonder if they were even watching the same game as the rest of us.